what are your visions, and what are your visions, or what are the visions behind the founding of this great socio-cultural foundation?
As I said, we had a major international conference that laid the foundation for ADF. That conference was a conference on the Igbo question in Nigeria. As you know, the Igbos have been like whipping dog in the Nigerian Federation. They have been treated with all kinds of disdain, and they have suffered a lot of marginalization from all that they went through during the Civil War to all that happened after, including abandoned property, including all kinds of humiliation. I can see that in Ala-Igbo today, there's nothing like infrastructure. The road from Enugu to Port Harcourt, or from Aba to Port Harcourt, or from Enugu to Onitsha, all these are like people who have been abandoned, So when we started that conference, we tried to examine the roots of Igbo marginalization, and then to ask ourselves, how do we overcome this marginalization? We formed the ADF, Ala-Igbo Development Foundation. Our aim was very simple. Our aim was how to get the Igbo nation, the Igbo stand firm, and the Igbo nation stand firm as a respected member of the Committee of Nations. How do we get into development of Ala-Igbo? We remember all the great things Sika and Opera did in terms of development of Eastern Nigeria. How do we get back to that trajectory? Today, all the basic elements of development in Ala-Igbo have been destroyed.
All right, beautiful people, this is Namen TV. I'm your boy again, the XDT and the WAPE, the extra talented young progressive entrepreneur, the RAB, refinable boy, SBGC street boy, gone classy, and I'm rapping in Namen TV, bringing you vibes from the streets. And today is another bomb. I promise you that the Unify Igbos Now project will go from strength to strength until we achieve the maximum result, which is to unify every Igbo, no matter where they are. And today we have the singular honor of being in the presence of an erudite scholar, a professor par excellence, and the person of Professor Nwala. All right, sir. This is Namen TV.
Thank you very much.
All right. I hope you don't have a problem in recapping what you inside.
I think we can, yeah.
Okay. So, all right, sir. Please introducing yourself properly.
My name is Professor Uzodinma Nwala. My English name is Timothy, my baptismal name. I'm a retired professor of philosophy. Also very active in the affairs of our society. I've been active in it right from the 60s to the 70s, or through 80s up to now. Even now that I'm 80 plus, I'm still very active involved, Well, from the academic point of view, people regard me as a father of African philosophy. Just like Chinua Achebe is the father of African literature, I'm the father of African philosophy. And Chinua and I were very close to the extent that when he was dying, he decreed that I should preside over his burial ceremonies, We have a long story, a long relationship. I've also been very active in laying the foundation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, what you call NYSC today. I'm the founder of it. In the early 70s, immediately after the war, I formed what was called the East Central State Youth Volunteer Services Corps, from where we led the foundation of the idea of a youth movement that will serve as an instrument of national integration. So we sent a memo to go on, he set up a committee that eventually adopted our ideas, and then NYS was banned. Also, what you call today as ASU, Academic Staff Union, was my foundation. 81, 82, I led the ASU strike of 81, 82 in the time of Shagari. Before me, there was little or no serious organization called ASU. I led the foundation. And then foundation in terms of structure, in terms of ideas and principles. And this was continued by subsequent ASU presidents. Professor Uzie, ASU president, Jerry, a good number of others, who have become ASU presidents, ASU BA, and so others. What you call today PDP, and one of the founding spirits of PDP. PDP was born from the G34, group of 34. And the memo that led to the foundation of that G34, I wrote it. And led to a meeting in Lagos, where we launched the G34 movement. From there, we moved on to form the PDP. And I was the director of organization and strategy of the PDP. But before then, I wrote the first draft of PDP constitution. And I was there, like I said, the director of organization and strategy of the PDP. I was secretary of the Just Convention, and so on and so forth. Well, the PDP, there was at the 94, 95 Constitutional Conference. I say pity, the constitution we handed over to Abacha was thrown overboard by Abdul Abubakar and his men when he came. That constitution would have been the best for Nigeria, that would create a more equitable Federal Republic of Nigeria. I was the secretary of the Igbo Delegates Forum, secretary of the Southern Delegates Forum, and secretary of the Consensus Committee, headed by Kwame Abakar as well. Well, in my life, I have not been very much after public office. Otherwise, I would have been governor of Imo State and not to Denwa. I would have also, if our man had lived, I would have run with him for presidency of Nigeria. Talking of Yaradua Senior, I also gave up being being a gubernatorial candidate for the PDP and so on and so forth, So all my life I've been quite very active. Like I said, I've had to lay a foundation for Nigeria. And incidentally, I have not also been very keen on public office. I said, abandoned and gave up the idea of being governor of Imo State. I also gave the idea of running with Shehu Musa Yaradua, running with him for presidency of Nigeria, So this is me. I would say I've had to lay foundation for what you call today the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The principles of zoning and rotation of power, we initiated it at the Constitutional Conference and made it as a basis for evolution of Nigeria. So that's a bit about my background.
All right, Professor. This is quite rich, and I must commend you, and I must thank you for giving us this time to speak with you, to have this chat with you. All right, let's come home now to the Ala-Igbo. Ala-Igbo. Tell us, as the president of the Ala-Igbo Development Foundation, what are your visions, and what are your visions, or what are the visions behind the founding of this great socio-cultural foundation?
As I said, we had a major international conference that laid the foundation for ADF. That conference was a conference on the Igbo question in Nigeria. As you know, the Igbos have been like whipping dog in the Nigerian Federation. They have been treated with all kinds of disdain, and they have suffered a lot of marginalization from all that they went through during the Civil War to all that happened after, including abandoned property, including all kinds of humiliation. I can say that in Ala-Igbo today, there's nothing like infrastructure. The road from Enugu to Port Harcourt, or from Aba to Port Harcourt, or from Enugu to Onitsha, all these are like people who have been abandoned, So when we started that conference, we tried to examine the roots of Igbo marginalization and then to ask ourselves, how do we overcome this marginalization? We formed the ADF, Ala-Igbo Development Foundation. Our aim was very simple. Our aim was how to get the Igbo nation, the Igbo stand firm, and the Igbo nation stand firm as a respected member of the Committee of Nations. How do we get the Igbo to develop self-confidence, and so as they can stand toe-to-toe with their neighbors? How do we get them live at peace with their neighbors without losing their self-confidence and so on? How do we get into development of Ala-Igbo? We remember all the great things Sika and Opera did in terms of development of Eastern Nigeria. How do we get back to that trajectory? Today, all the basic elements of development in Ala-Igbo have been destroyed. You remember, of course, we were told that Malaysia is now the biggest oil and palm kernel producing country on earth. They derive more wealth from that than any palm oil. But they got their palm kernel from Eastern Nigeria. So at the time of Zik, there are many plantations all over, but they're all derelict now. Cashew plantations, rubber plantations. There was also animal husbandry in the Calabar area, So all those things are gone. There were industries all over the place. Calabar Cement Company, the coal industry in Enugu. All those things went distant. So how do we get back to that? It was that led us into getting idea of what Peter Obi did when he was governor. And we took it up from there. Peter Obi, by the way, was my student in Nsukka, just like Soludo, So from then on, our aim in Ala-Igbo Foundation has been to restore the lost glory of Ala-Igbo and make Ala-Igbo as a nation, a people that stand equally, toe-to-toe, enjoy equality with their neighbors, both in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. So ADF has been a major force. Right now we've been pursuing what we call investor movement, Akurula movement, where we're joining all our people to come home and invest. Particularly those that are not wanted in other parts of Nigeria, they should come home. Even those that are suffering in Lagos, come home and make Ala-Igbo the great haven, industrial center of West Africa, as it was going to be in those days. Onitsha was the biggest market in West Africa at that time.
Still on the Ala-Igbo Development Foundation, in what way has this organization impacted the Igbo nation?
We've done quite a lot, a lot in protecting our businessmen who were hounded. Is it Innocent? Is it Chikasin? Is it Nnaji? Is it Neji and others? We've been guiding them. We've got them together and got them, installed them as the pathfinders of Igbo development, And as I said, we've started a movement called the Akurula movement and getting our people to go back to this thing. We've done a lot also in terms of getting our youths to take to farming and agriculture. That's what we call the Akurula movement. We've also have to build a very powerful women organization called Igbo Women Assembly. We've also defended the Igbo, especially at the time of the quit notice. We took the matter to the United Nations at the American Congress, all fighting for defend the interests of our people. The time of Achebe also, we had to arrange burial of Achebe. It's not only that, to celebrate Achebe's 50th anniversary of Achebe's book in those days. We're in touch with different districts. P2B has been a major factor in the idea of this thing. And we've done a lot to inspire him. And he has done a lot to inspire him. He's been our model. We have done a lot of study of what he achieved. And that study is part of what gave rise to the book we're launching today. We have been inspirers of many Igbo great icons. Naji, Ibeto, Katihenacho, all these are key members of ADF. They have all been working with us, all in the bid to restore Ala-Igbo and put Ala-Igbo as a viable nationality in the world.
Okay, Professor. Now I want to ask you, when you refer to Ala-Igbo, which regions, as regards to the administrative units of Nigeria, are you really referring to?
We're referring to the Igbo-speaking peoples of Nigeria. You find them in what you call the old East Central State, where you have the 4 or 5 regions now. Anambra, Abia, Ebonyi, Enugu, Imo. Also referring to the riverine area. Also working also in collaboration with Igbo neighbors, Yorubas, Ibibio, Efik, Ijos, we're working hand in hand together with them also. But our major emphasis is because today the world is moving in the direction of nation states, not the days of federations or what we call empires. The political units in the world today are nation states, people of one language, one culture, with varying variations. That's the way the world is going. But while that is going, all nationalities are also building bridges with their neighbors and making sure they live in peace with them and cooperation with them. And the Igbos are very peaceful, loving people and loving people. They're all over the world, and wherever they are impacting on other countries. They're also not forgetting their roots as Igbo citizens in the world.
Okay, Professor. All right. So now I want to ask you, what are the special plans the Ala-Igbo Development Foundation has for the Igbos outside the core 5 states in the east, for the 5 eastern states? What are the special plans in order to bring them the aniomas, the acres, and because here we are, this is Namen TV, we are specially dedicated to the unification of the Igbos. We have been to a lot of places like the Eka, Ebanke in Edo State. We have been to Egalamela, Odolu, local government area of Kogi State. Yes, where we met Igbo speaking people, indigenous. We've been to Benue, we've been to Akwa Ibom, where we met Igbo people too in the Okanafong local government area. We met Igbo people there. We've been to River State. Igbo people also are there. So, what are the special plans from the Ala-Igbo Development Forum in order to bring these whole people to answer the clarion call of one Igbo nation, Ala-Igbo? Please tell us.
So, a number of the programs we've had, we invited people from all these places. When we had the major international colloquium on the Igbo question in Nigeria, many people came from all parts of Igbo-speaking areas. We worked very hard with people in Anioma. The late Sonny Odogu was one of the patrons of Ala-Igbo, and we took a great part in not only working with him, but also during his burial. People like the late Ered, was also a great member of ADF. Well, what do you call him? Ered. That's the one from Anioma. We're also the rivers. Worked with a lot of people, the Kukus, the senator, the other senator who represented rivers worked closely with us. We've also been in touch with those in Kogi area and those in Benue State. We had meetings with them, invited them, and discussed with them. They told us the stories of how they have been treated in this, and we tried at one point to get in touch with the Benue governor in order to protect their interests. So we've been that, and I'm happy to hear about your organization. And I think we should be able to partner with you. The work you're doing is in tandem with what we're doing, because we want the Igbo nation to be a corporate nation entity in the world. Wherever we are exhibiting our Igbo-ness, as a nationality, a great nation on earth. Remember, there was a time long ago, people did study of the great, what they call tribes or nationalities on earth. They first studied about 10 great tribes, 10 great nationalities in the world. There was one from Africa, and that was the Igbo nation. Was the one from Africa, So we are trying to do that, and also propagate our philosophy that enables us to live at peace with our neighbors. But they're very greedy people. Wherever we go, we develop the area. We don't carry their things back to develop our area. We rather take to develop those areas, And there's this popular saying, name of Nibo as Ojembe Wilo,
Okay, all right, Professor. Again, it takes a united people to make a concerted effort towards development. In Igbo, disunited.
It's a problem you have in every nationality. There are usually individual people who think more of themselves than their nations. You have it all over the whole world. The problem is such people proliferate in Ala-Igbo today because we are yet to build up that esprit de corps among the Igbo nation. Well, I'm not saying P2B is a kind of the Igbo nation, but you can see emergence of such people telling the world that Igbos were a mother that can join and help in rebuilding our society. It's a great honor to the Igbo nation, So I think gradually you can see a reaction of our people to those who are attacking P2B and those who are rejecting their Igbo-ness and those who are agents of our enemies or producers. The Igbo nation is gradually waking up,
Okay, so I have this now to say. In what way are the Igbos getting it right?
The Igbos are getting it right in the area of development, the area of investment.
Okay, so
the only problem we have is that our enemies have been trying to wage us to make sure we don't rise and shine, we don't fly. But our people are working very hard, laying the foundation for the great future of Ala-Igbo.
All right. So, are there efforts to unite the Igbo technocrats, the entrepreneurs, and political class in Ala-Igbo?
That's what ADF is doing. That's what ADF is doing. Well, last time we launched what we call Pathfinders, bringing all Igbo businessmen. We had a conference in Enugu, conference in Abuja, Naoka, where we gave them honors as pathfinders. Also have ADF is like a platform for Igbo intellectuals and also Igbo elders, Igbo spiritual leaders, many of them in ADF.
Okay. So, what is your opinion in the um, what is your opinion in the project, the Unify Igbos Now, using culture, using cultural carnival or festival?
We have been very much into that, and we're very much into that. When that Chebe died, before he died, we organized what we call a Festival on Igbo Civilization, where we had programs in all capitals of Igbo-speaking states, from Asaba to Enugu to Owerri to Umuahia, Aba, and so on and so forth. We have been doing that. And we've also been working with Ohaneze, no matter how problems it may have. At some critical moments, we wake up Ohaneze, like when Peter Obi was being nominated as vice president. Based on our own experience of him and working with him, we knew he was a good candidate. That any government he's in, either as vice president or president, the Igbos will suffer a lot of the things we're suffering now. And we stood by him. We mobilized all Igbos, and we stood by him at the time, even though there may be some black legs. So we're working very hard, trying to get the Igbo nation moved as a nation of one people, one destiny.
Okay, now the Igbo language. The Igbo language seems to be on the brink of extinction. Many homes does not speak Igbo language, even when they are Igbos. What do you have to say about this?
ADF has a committee on Igbo language and culture, which flourished a lot. And many of Igbo intellectuals in Igbo language, people like the late Ohiri in Anichie, the late Philip Nwachukwu, the late Onwejogu, the late Banjo from this thing, and the late Peter Obi and others. They are all members of that committee. And luckily also, we have the women wing, Igbo Women Assembly. And the Igbo Women Assembly have a major program now of encouraging Igbo culture and language. They're also establishing schools for the promotion of Igbo language and culture. And the DF is backing them.
Wow. I really thank you, my professor. So, so what advice do you have for the young Igbo youths out there, and also your encouragement for what we are doing, the Unify Igbos Now, that is being championed by Namen TV? What advice do you have for us?
I said, I'm just hearing about the organization for the first time. I think before long, we'll be organizing a joint meeting with you to sit down and hammer out, because you will be a very important front in promoting Igbo civilization. We have a BVI channel that works with us also, but yours is specializing in this area. And we're going to bring it together along with the women. I think the women have a program in Owerri here, about 17th of the month. And we'll take your particulars and invite you to join that program.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, my professor.